But
Recording is on.
before we dive into day two, let's go ahead to talk about day one. You know what? I'm going to go ahead to turn off my camera so that we can focus more on the class, right? So, yeah. So, can anyone quickly give me a quick recap of what you learned during the day one? Anyone? Something brief, what you learned during day one. I know day one, you guys were just introduced to the basics, the future of working with AI, and sort of things, right? So if you don't want to talk, you can drop it in the chat, or you can also raise your hand quickly just to run through what you were able to understand from day one lecture. Does anyone want to go, or should I call names?
Okay,
Miss Aisha, I'm sure I'm free. Okay,
I
Steven,
can.
sure, nice, go ahead, please.
Okay, I wasn't quite. I couldn't go through the class fully, but from what I grasped up to the time I left the meeting, so we were introduced to the AI agents and what the difference between AI agents and the traditional models that we are used to. So basically, that's what I grasped from that class, and probably somebody else could add more into what I've just said. Thank you. Back to you, David.
Yes, thank you very much, Steven, for that. Let me open the floor for just one more person. Does anyone want to go ahead? V, are you there? Kindly unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so we also learned how AI agents are different from the traditional AIs that we've been having, like
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, and also
Okay.
told that AI agents uh, they're a bit different. They observe, they think, and take action. Um, yeah, they also perform tasks and assist with whatever you're planning to do. That's what I got.
All right, V and Steven, thank you very much for that. That was a nice answer, right? So yeah, when it comes to traditional AI and when it comes to the AI that's been used recently, you know that there are major difference, right? Especially when it comes to um, the olden days back then, mostly you would see people working with machine learning, supervised, unsupervised. I don't know if you guys have worked around the um, what's it called right now, the Titanic data set. So those stuff were really popular back then, where you tend to build models, classify them into or one to see to basically find the accuracy, the F1 score, the recall, and stuff like that, right? But nowadays, you see that we've shifted towards the world of um, LLMs, agentic AIs, and the likes, right? Where we'll be working, where people are working with LLMs,
Recording has
models.
stopped.
Um, okay, did someone stop the recording? Aisha, please kindly help confirm that. So yeah, you see that
The
mostly
recording is
you
still
can now
on my
work.
end. You
Yeah.
can continue.
All right, good, good. So you see mostly nowadays you can basically reproduce images, you can reproduce audio. I mean, we have some cool models like 11 Labs for audio. We also have some awesome models for coding, Copilot. We have like Claude Sonnet 4.5, Claude Sonnet for Aiku. We have Codex, right? GPT-5 Codex, right? So you see that nowadays, mostly we are shifting towards the world of agentic AI, also LLMs, large language models, which is very important. But before the traditional model, you would see that mostly you'll be working with zeros and one, finding classification, building regression, and the likes, right? But today we're going to be talking about something more different. We're going to be talking about yeah. Before I go into what we're going to be talking about, let me just give you guys this quick um motivation, right? And this motivation is by Alan Paris. I don't know if you guys know Alan Paris, but Alan Paris said that a year spent in artificial intelligence is enough to make one believe in God, right? So basically, if you haven't been using AI before, I remember back then, like last year, when I went back to my village, I saw my grandfather, and um, I introduced him to ChatGPT, right? But as at then, he was like, "What is ChatGPT? What are they using it for?" And the likes. But trust me, after he started using it, like for 2 months, he was already glued to it. Any small thing before he confirms anything, he's going to ChatGPT to say, "Oh, can you help me to this? Can you help me to that?" Right. So basically, if you basically start using AI, trust me, you would see that your limitations are endless, right? But today, what we're going to be talking about mostly, we're going to be talking about workflow automation and no code tools, right? If you are following me in the chat, please kindly go ahead to drop a yes so that I can know that you guys are with me. All right, good, good. Thank you, Sam. So yeah, we're going to be diving into workflow automation and no code tools. And basically, this is what we're going to be covering in this lecture. We're going to talk about understanding workflow design, basically what workflow is. We're going to talk about what workflow is. We're going to try to understand the workflow design principle itself. Then after that, we'll get introduced to Zapier. Has anyone heard of Zapier before in the chat? If you've heard of Zapier before, just drop a yes. If you've heard of Zapier or you've used it before, just drop a yes. But if you are new, just say I'm new. If you've used it before, say yes. But if you've not heard it before, just say no. Okay, yes, I can see yes coming up. No, no, all right, no issues. You're gonna get to understand that very well today. All right. So we're going to use Zapier to basically build something very minimal, right? We'll see how we can create Google Forms. I mean, you guys will know how to create Google Forms. Then we're going to connect it to Zapier so that whenever anybody basically go ahead to fill in our form, we get to send an automated message to the person directly, right? And we'll also talk about API integration without code, right? I'll tell you what API integration is and basically what it means without coding, right? API fully means application programming interface, right? So we'll talk about that briefly. Then after we understand those three concepts, we're now going to go ahead to build our first automation project. All right. Very good. So, with that being said, let's go ahead to talk about understanding workflow design, which is very, very paramount, right? So, can anyone quickly explain to me what workflow is? You can drop it in the chat if you don't want to talk, but if you want to talk, just raise your hand and I'll give you the floor briefly. Or do you guys prefer me calling names? Anybody? Workflow? All right, let me see. Let me call one of my friends right here. Joy, are you there? Hi, Joy. Are you there? The flow of work. Aisha said the flow of work. All right, very good. I really love um that interpretation, right? It sounds good, right? But basically that's what it means in a nutshell, right? Workflow basically means like the flow of work, but we're going to explain it in more details, right? So workflow is basically a sequence of steps, right, that connect. Okay, someone is saying, Stephen is saying, workflow is a schema that defines a process for an expected output. Stephen, I really like your grammar, right? Okay. We have another comment from Sam. Sam is saying a sequence of steps that are allowed to achieve a task. Awesome. Very good. I really love that, right? And basically, we are also saying the same thing, right? What is workflow? Workflow is just a sequence of steps that connects one task to the other, right? Work are flowing, right? By connecting one task to the other. And while we're saying this, you can think of it like a chain of reaction. For example, what happens if when A happens, then B and C flow automatically, right? We can also say that it's like um a step-by-step process of taking whereby you take to achieve something, right? And also we have the automation, right? So the automation basically replace the manual step. So instead of you going to go and do something yourself, automation is just going to make you it's going to save you time. It's going to also reduce mistake. So once you can do it once, you just set it to repeat itself, right? And before creating a workflow, you must actually understand what the process look like, right? So for example, if you want to cook in noodles, right, what would you have to do? Basically, you have to boil water, you have to add noodles, add seasoning, cook, then serve, right? So basically, if you also want to create a workflow, you need to understand the steps that you need to take, right? So for example, a real world example would be like when you receive an email, what should happen? Probably when you receive an email, the workflow should help you to add it to your Notion table, right? Then you send them a welcome message. That's an example of a simple workflow, right? Um, and basically, you need to understand that workflow also moves. Okay, let me see. Yeah. So you need to understand that workflow also moves data from input to the process, then to the output. It's very, very paramount for you to take note of this, right? And basically, I said it before, it helps to remove repetitive and manual work, right? So instead of you doing it over and over again, basically, when you have a workflow automation, it's going to basically help you to remove or basically help you to perform those your tasks that you do manually every time, right? And is the foundation of automation system. That's one thing you should also take notes of, right? And basically,
Recording is on.
you can see an example of how Zapier workflow is. It's just a simple example that when you basically upload a document, right, the document is emailed to the approver, right? Then what happens? If it's approved, then we click on approve document button, else it clicks reject document button, right? And after that, Zep goes ahead to approve record and email sent, and also if it's rejected is rejection recorded and email sent, right? So it goes ahead to basically document all this process for you instead of you doing it manually. And another example would also be something that we'll be doing today, right? We're going to create a very, very simple automation system that basically allows us to track what is coming in from our Google form and send an automated reply, right? But before we go ahead, I want you to understand that there's a popular saying by Dave Water, and what he said is that AI and deep learning will create a set of hot jobs in the next 5 years, right? So whatever you are doing, whatever job you are doing, whatever you are doing right now, if you are not using AI, if you are not using deep learning, if you are not automating your workflow, trust me, someone else that knows how to do all of this is going to replace you, right? And let me give a very, very detailed example. There was a company I worked for back then, and they were like, we were up to like 40 developers in that company, right? And the company just decided one month to just like go ahead to reduce their staff from 40 developers to 20 developers, just 50% cut off. And basically, the reason why they did it was because they already had workflow that was helping them to automate attacks. So they felt that developers were not really much of a need like that because it's just like stress. Basically, when you have something that can automate the workflow, right? So they basically kept developers that were very good at using AI and were also very good at building workflows, right? And it's not even like a new story. It's something that is going up right there. You've seen the stories about how Microsoft fired developers because of they've seen like a faster process whereby they can go ahead to automate their job. And you see it also, it was listed in Azure Workers also. Even to, or Microsoft rather, they were able to basically reduce their developers, right? It was trending one time, I think around last year or thereabouts, where Microsoft went ahead to basically fire a lot of developers because they already had things in place that could automate that workflow for them, and it was cost efficient, right? So trust me, whatever you are doing right now, if you are not learning AI, if you are not making use of AI in your job right now, basically AI would never replace you, right? Someone that knows how to use AI would basically replace you. So please, whatever you are doing, try your possible best to always make sure that you use AI just to help you to fasten and speed up your workflow, right? So very good. So with that being said, now let's look at why we need to automate workflow, right? We've heard about workflow. We already know what workflow is. Now, why do we really need to automate our workflows, right? So first is it saves time and it also reduces manual errors, right? This is very, very important. So, for example, if you are doing something over and over again, trust me, it will get to a time whereby errors will occur, right? Because humans are basically prone to error. So basically, by you setting up workflow, this is going to basically reduce the error rates that you have in your application or whatever product that you are building, right? So workflow is basically automating workflow is going to basically help you to save time and reduce manual error, which is very, very important for you to take note of, right? Now, the next thing is it also improves consistency, right? Instead of you doing something over and over again, right? You just set up those workflow, and basically, all that happens is you get to put in a timeline or put in a date that basically helps you to run your workflow, and basically that allows consistency in whatever work that you are doing, right? It also allows you to scale tasks without extra effort. I know I've done like some gigs for different um, clients before, and basically what they needed was just they needed those sort of automations that just help them to reply to their customer email whenever a customer drops email for them, or
Ga balance ɗinki ya
sorry,
koma 19.
please can you mute your mic?
Ne na farko plus 10 ba 19 ba.
Let me just check the person
kuma
to see
aikin bai ɗauka
whose
ba
mic is
bai
unmuted.
ya kawo mun
I'm
Waye?
trying to check on my
Nawa ya kawo
end.
miki?
ya kawo mun 15 bai da
Okay,
nashi
all
ne
right, good, good. I think it's Abdul.
Everyone, Tracy, can you please mute your mic? Tracy, okay, I think she has muted. Okay, it's Abdul. Abdul, please mute your mic. Thank you. You can continue, Mr. David.
All right, very good. Please let me know in the comment section if you are following me, and if you have any question, also don't do well to raise your hand so that you can go ahead to. I'll go ahead to give you the floor if you have questions, right? So, if you following me, kindly drop a yes in the comments so I can know that you are with me. Okay, good, good. Um, all right. So yeah, I said it helps you to scale tasks without extra efforts, right? And the reason it helps you to scale tasks without extra effort is because, trust me, like I was saying before, there were clients that basically did not really know how to automate their workflow, right? And what was this workflow? This workflow was just basically once a client basically sent a there was a client that works for again, like I mentioned. So basically, what this client wanted was whenever a user drops review for she's into catering, so she has like this restaurants where she serves people and stuff. So what she just wanted was whenever anybody drops review for her via Google Docs, she just wants to send like an automated email that thanks them that, oh, thank you to so person name for basically dropping a review. I really appreciate it. So something like that, right? And how she was doing it manually, whereby whenever she's done from work and she sees those review, then she now goes ahead to start basically replying those people that just sent review one by one, right? And it's so stressful because if a client comes to a restaurant in the morning, probably around 9 a.m., the client eats very well, the client is satisfied and drops a review around 10 a.m., then she's now going to wait till probably 6 p.m. when she's done from work, settle when she gets home, then going through those set of emails and then replying them one by one, right? Which basically workflow can actually do for you. So basically, all I had to do was just basically connect. connect. I was using anything back then. I don't know if you guys know about anything, right? So just connect the script to Google Doc, and whenever any email comes in for the review, then automatically, immediately, it takes less than 60 seconds. And once the user submits the email, the user gets a thank you feedback. And basically, this is like example of how you can basically scale up your tasks without extra effort by just building automation workflows, right? Other benefits that you should also use, why you should also use automated workflow, is because it will help you to actually connect apps that normally cannot work together, right? So for example, we both know that Google Doc is available in for your Gmail. We know that Notion, we know Slack is available, we know Microsoft Teams is available, but basically you cannot connect these apps together without using workflow, right? Because tell me, how do you want to say, okay, once somebody send me an email, write a Python script or Python code that is running 24/7. Then when you receive an email, then once you receive that email, it checks for the body. If there's something in that body, then it goes ahead to open your application, then finds a username, maybe your friend name, Taiwo, then send him that, okay, this email got in. Can you check this out, right? So basically, it's going using workflow is going to save all of those stress, right? I remember back then when I was learning Python few years back, I was doing, I don't know if you guys know about automate your boring stuff with Python. There was this course I took back then where I was learning how to basically interact with my computer, open different applications, send message here, go there, and I have to keep tracking. I have to keep tracking all of this by coding it, right? But trust me, we have moved past that age right now. That's why we have awesome automated workflow tools right there. We have Make right now. I don't know if you guys have heard of Make before, but you can just be Google searching it. You know what? Let's just try to explore it together because I want us to see what's going on right here. Right. So let's go ahead to see samples of automated workflow software. Right. We have a lot of them out there, but let's see what our sample gives us, right? So you can see we have Zapier right here. We have ClickUp. ClickUp now, basically, ClickUp now does a very, very amazing work, right? We have Make. Um, I'm so shocked that Google did not mention anything right here, but yeah, we have Trello. So we have like Kingtone, we have Process Maker, Mira, and so on and so on and so forth, right? Even trust me, companies right now, because I have vast experience working with. I don't know if you guys know about Linear. If you work in a tech company, you know about Linear, you know about Jira, you know about Trello. Basically, they are now workflows whereby you can go ahead to connect your Jira tickets. Or so let me just confirm, does anyone know Jira here? If you know Jira, if you know Linear, kindly drop a yes in the chat, or just drop the name that you know in the chat so I can know you're following me. So if you know Jira, Trello, Linear, whatever one you've used before, ClickUp, Jira. Okay, V said Jira. Anyone else? Jira and ClickUp, very good. Jira and Trello. Okay, good. Because I know these are the software that are very popular there. And if you don't know it, it's fine. Basically, what these software are is these software are just basically they help companies manage projects, right? Like a project management tool. So, for example, if they want a developer to work on a task, they go ahead to create a ticket and assign that task to a particular developer for that developer to work on that project, right? It can be a developer, it can be a UI UX designer, whatsoever. But right now, trust me, they are workflows that when a ticket is created, right? Do you guys know about Cursor? If you know about Kuso, so you can drop a yes in the chat, right? So now there are workflows whereby when a PM creates a ticket, so for example, I'm working on a website and the PM just noticed that, oh, this button is not centered. The PM can just go ahead and take a screenshot. Okay, yeah, this is a screenshot. Then assign it to not is the PM is not going to assign it to any developer right now. The PM is going to assign it to Kuso, right? And that's why you're getting like awesome news out there that Kuso agent is doing a very, very awesome work. And what will happen is Cursor will go ahead to to take that ticket. Once you assign it to Cursor, it takes that ticket, then it goes ahead to make changes, it fix everything, create a new branch, then create a PR, right, and leave it for review. And basically, it can do all of that in just 2 seconds, right? I'm saying this because it's already happening right now, right? Instead of PM going ahead, I mean, they still do that, but those small tasks, they are testing it out right now, and trust me, it's doing a very good work. So instead of PM creating a small issue, assigning it to someone, and that person might not even reply on time, or the person might really take like maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatsoever, to basically change just that small fix, they can actually assign it to Cursor, and Cursor basically does all the workflow and create a PR under in less than 2 minutes, right? So it's happening right now. If you do your research, watch YouTube video, you would see how basically workflow um are basically taking over today's industry, right? I also have many friends that goes ahead to basically build workflow for themselves instead of them doing repetitive tasks daily, right? So basically, you also need to know how to delegate tasks. We know that there are tasks that you can do, but sometimes you also need to delegate tasks, because trust me, you aren't going to be free all the time, and you just need something to always speed up your process. So yeah, so that's that about that. So like I was saying before, right, it helps you to connect to apps that normally cannot work together, right? And trust me, nowadays companies are basically looking for that skills, right? It's now very essential for skill. Is an essential skill for modern work, right? So if you want to get hired right now, mostly you see it in the job description that okay, anything is a plus. Zapier is a plus. Make AI is a plus. Or you see agentic AI development is a plus, right? So what that happens is when they are basically picking out developers, or when they are running the Python bots to basically filter out resumes, and in your resume you are highlighting that, oh, I'm very good at AI automation workflow, I'm good with agentic AI, I'm good with LLMs, then that's a plus for you, right? So trust me, you would always want to basically upskill yourself. And basically, let's look at, we've talked about why automation, what is workflow, but basically, what is the steps, right? What do we need to know for us to run a workflow? And for a good workflow, it has basically three things, right? A good workflow structure has three key things, which is first, it has a trigger, right? So it has something that triggers it. And when we start doing example, I'm going to show you on how it works. I'm going to use a new account because I know that there are people here that haven't used Zapier before. And once I'm doing it, if you're with your laptop, you can just go ahead to follow along as I'm going to be teaching you how to use the Zapier, right? So you have a trigger function, you also have an action, and you have your output. It's as simple as that, right? So very good. So now let's look at how we can go ahead to map our process, right? Now, mapping your process basically means where the information starts. So for you to have a good workflow, you need to know what you need to do first, right? You need to have a solid understanding of how you need to map your process, right? So first, you think of it that okay, um, where is my information starting from? What do I need to do first? Right? What needs to happen next, right? Because basically, if you are saying, okay, I've mapped out my information, and you're saying that, okay, what I want to do is I want to make sure that whenever a user send me submit a Google form or send me an email, um, I want this to happen. So basically, you're saying that you want your information to start from when the user submits a Google Doc, right? And trust me, I'm using Google Doc, I'm using Jira, I'm using Google Doc, I'm using Google Doc, Gmail, I'm using Slack and the likes. But trust me, Zapier has over 7,000 different tools that you can basically automate, right? So basically, once you do that, you need to also highlight what what needs to happen next. It's very important, right? So okay, for example, when the user submit an email, what needs to happen next. So the Zapier goes ahead to basically check the body, or basically go ahead to run a process. Basically, you need to also identify what needs to happen next, right? And you also need to know the tools that are involved. So what tool am I making use of? Obviously, if you want to send a mail when a user submits a form, then obviously you know that you'll be making use of the Google form, right? Um, After what tools are involved, right? You need to know where the data is ending. So when the Zapier is able to basically catch when the form is submitted, sent a mail, right? What is going to happen next when the data ends, right? And also you also need to catch the potential bottleneck. It's very, very important, right? So, for example, a student fills a form. When the student fills a form, you get notified. After you get notified, you say, okay, store the data somewhere, right? And maybe a follow-up email is sent. So that's basically how you can map a process, right? And yeah, once you basically understand what you need to do, then trust me, your work will be much more easier. And now let's look at Zapier, your first automation tool. Like I said earlier on, and like I showed you guys before, they are different. Can you go back to a good workflow? Dave is asking me to go back to a good workflow, but quickly, let me do that for you, Dave. Right. So this is how a good workflow is, right? That's trigger, action, then output. Dave, I hope I got to basically help you on that. So you can take a screenshot, or the file will be sent to you by the admin teams, right? Yeah, so let's continue. Yeah, so Zapier, your first automation tool, and like I showed you guys before, there are like thousands, there are hundreds of automation tools right there. We're going to be picking Zapier because Zapier is very much easy for beginners to understand. It's very seamless for you to also use. You see how easy it is, and you also see how very, very simple you can build workflow by just prompting Zapier Copilot, right? I'm going to show you all of that, right? So yeah, that's that about that. Let's go back to our slide. And if you want to sign up for Zapier, just go to zapier.com, right? I'm going to explain all of this to you. Yeah, so go to zapier.com. We're going to run through it together, right? But let me just go ahead to finish the slide. So once you go to zapier.com, you're going to see something like this. If you're a new user and you don't have an account, you'll see an upgrade, right? You see you have this Copilot here. We have this task from scratch. We have Zap, right? So Zap is basically your workflow that you have created. You have tables, interface, chatbots, canvas, and the likes. And we have popular templates also. Once we get there, I'll basically run you through everything step by step so that you can understand. So even if you're a beginner or it's your first time, you are going to know how to use Zapier. Or even if you are used to Zapier, you are still going to learn a lot, right? So yeah, this is how Zapier interface looks like. You can go ahead to quickly create an account. Just create an account and sign up. Once you click on create an account, it will prompt you to fill in your details. If you're a data scientist, if you're into IT, just fill in all of that and just create an account, right? You can do that quickly. But yeah, let's continue. I'll give you time for that. So now, how does Zapier works? Now, Zapier works by how you basically choose on how to trigger your applications. And like I said, there are over 7,000 Zapier tools that you can make use of.
I can't.
Yes,
Okay.
Abdul, thank you for dropping that link. Yes, N10 is also an automation tool. Um, Sam, very good. Abdul, thank you for dropping that link. So you can go ahead to sign up from there. I'm going to run you through the website. I'll show you that there are even popular templates. Why I really like Zapier is they really made it more simple and seamless because when it comes to using chatbots to build an automation tool, you can prompt Copilot like what you see here, right? And it's in beta mode, but trust me, this is really doing a great work. And we're going to run through an example together. Other thing you can do is you can also view templates that has been created down for you. So, for example, if you want to build like from Google Doc to Mail, from Google Sheets to Mail, or from um, sorry, give me one sec, or from Mail to your Slack to your Microsoft Teams, there are like different templates that you can go ahead to build down, right? So there are different templates that you can go ahead to build down. Um, and you see how seamless it is also to use, right? So basically, how it works is you choose a trigger app. So it can be Google Form, it can be Slack, it can be email, it can be anything, right? It can be Microsoft Teams. You can just connect to your applications. But if you're using Microsoft Teams, there's some or other applications also. There are some ones that require admin access. For example, if you're working for a company, companies don't really like people using the Microsoft Teams for automation. So you might have to require admin access. And that's why if you want to use Zapier and you try to connect your Microsoft Teams, it's going to tell you to basically require an admin access. And some of the apps to like Slack also, if you are using like a dedicated company Slack account, you might have to get permission from them. But if you're using your Google, your Gmail, you can actually just grant yourself permission, right? And that's why when you get to Zapier, you will see that most popular templates right there, they are mostly always around Gmail, Drive, because it's something that a personal user can grant he or herself access to basically, right? Seamlessly. So now after that, you need to choose the trigger events, right? So you need to tell Zapier that, oh, okay, what needs to trigger when I basically run this, right? After that, you need to also add action, right? Basically, when we say add actions, that means you need to say, okay, do you want to send email? Do you want to add database role? Do you want to create a document? etc. You need to tell Zapier what exactly you want to do with it, right? And number four thing you need to do is you need to also test the workflow, right? So because after you are done creating the workflow, you want to test that it works before you actually go ahead to activate it, right? So number four, you need to test the workflow. And after you test the workflow, you are find that it's working perfectly, perfectly okay. Then you now go ahead to turn it on, right? You go ahead to turn it on. So quickly, can anyone tell me the 5 steps that I just mentioned that you need to take for you to use Zapier? How Zapier works? I just mentioned 5 steps. Who want to go ahead to tell me that? Quickly, anyone? Once you answer my question correctly, I'm sure Aisha is going to say to you.
Okay, Wema, do you want to unmute your mic and answer the question? I mean, it would be nice to hear somebody else's voice aside from our mentor. I've been enjoying the lecture too, and I think I'm also learning something about automations.
Yes, I would like to answer.
Okay, great. You can go ahead.
So the first step is to choose a trigger app.
Okay.
The second step was to. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Emma. Please go ahead.
The second step was to choose a trigger event.
Okay.
The third one was to add action, and the fourth one was to test the workflow and then you turn it on.
Wow, Wema, thank you very much for that. I can see that you are following, and I'm pretty much sure that you'll be able to do a very great work. Wema, thank you for that, right? So don't forget the steps that you need to take is choose a trigger app, right? So either be it Google Form, Slack, Gmail, right? You need to pick a trigger app. After you do that, you need to choose the trigger events. Then you need to add actions, right? After you add actions, you need to test the workflow. Then after, you need to also turn it on, right? Very simple and also very straightforward. And if you're having any issues, or if you're trying to use Zapier and you're not getting something right, what you can always do is there's always an AI section at the back where you can just use like a chatbot to quickly ask Zapier chatbot on what you might be doing wrong or what is missing, It's really going to help you to basically it's going to tell you the steps to take or what you are missing out in case you're missing out on anything, right? So Zapier is also very, very seamless and also very easy to use, right? So now that we know about that, um, let's go ahead to quickly talk about API integration. No code needed. So there's sometimes that you might be using Zapier and you might really need to actually also do some API integration, right? But you might not need to write code. It's very, very important. So if you don't know what API integration is, what API means is API just means application programming interface, right? If you are a developer, you might have worked with different APIs, especially if you're a backend developer. What you would do mostly is you'll be creating APIs, right? So basically, what it does is it's a bridge that lets apps talk to each other, right? And it also helps and send receive. It's also send and receive data rather. So once you go ahead to basically get some requests, you go ahead to also get your response, right? So with Zapier, it's much more easier because if you're a backend developer, you would agree with me that when someone is trying to basically work with your API, sometimes you might be getting calls error, right? I don't know if you guys know what cause error is, but if you don't know what cause error is, it's just like a cross origin platform error whereby backend developer needs to allow some origins, like maybe local 3000, or maybe allow a particular URL and stuff like that. But with Zapier, it's much more easier because it's like a no-code tool, so it's always straightforward, right? And also, Zapier can use API without writing code. Like I said earlier on, you might not need to write a single line of code before you can use these APIs, which is very, very important because um, there are people that are not even into coding. They are using Zapier workflow seamlessly and it's working perfectly fine, right? So basically, these are no code tools, and it's something that you'll be able to do when you come when it gets to the time, right? And basically, when I used to use these API connections, basically, you can use this API connection when you need a custom data. So, for example, you need a custom data whereby Zapier might not even be able to handle, and you need to actually customize this yourself. Then that means you might need to write some API connections, right? Also, when you want to push pull from your backend system, if you don't know what push and pull is, it's just like a term that basically helps you to get like retrieve the latest update or push the latest update. It's a term that is used in the GitHub industry, right? If you are familiar with Git, Git is just like a version control system that helps you to manage your file, right? And GitHub is like an online platform where you can go ahead to manage your code base also, right? So, for example, when you want to pull an update from GitHub, don't forget GitHub is like an online platform that basically helps you to store your data on the cloud, right? So when you want to pull an update that's been saved to the cloud, you might actually need to build some of these API connections, connectors, right? Right. And also when you want to pull your changes, when you want to push also, you might also need to do this, right? Because trust me, there might not be another easy way to do that than to actually build an API connector, right? And lastly is when automation require more flexibility, right? Like I've been saying before, it's possible for you to do some things without
Recording is
writing code.
on.
Okay, it's possible for you to do some things without writing code, but at the same time, because basically makes work much more easier, we can't still neglect that fast that we shouldn't write any code, right? So if you also know how to write code, then that's a plus for you, right? But it's not totally required. But when automations require more flexibility, then trust me, you might need to write on some API calls or build some API calls, right? Um, with that being said, we've talked a lot. We've talked about what Zapier is, why we need to use Zapier. We've talked about how the interface looks like, which I'm still going to cover more. Let's just go ahead to get our hands dirty and let's build our first automation project, right? So what I want you guys to do right now is I want you to go ahead to navigate to zapier.com to get started. So if you've created an account, drop a yes in the chat.
Thank you very much, Mr. David, for that thorough class. So, guys, I want us to all create an account on Zapier. If you've created your account, one thing you can do is take a screenshot of your laptop of your account that you've created and drop it in the Discord channel. You see that channel that has been created for AI automation engineer, drop it there. That's an evidence that you attended today's class, so that we can know people that attended today's class. Even if you're on your phone, create a profile on your phone and drop a screenshot on that channel. Yeah. So, Mr. David, you can continue if you still want to like continue while they do that.
All right, so I'm going to pause and give you guys 60 seconds to quickly do that. Once you do that, just come here and drop done. 60 seconds.
So, pending when that 60 seconds elapse, I just want to say if anyone has any question, please feel free to raise your hand, or if you're at somewhere where you can currently not say anything or you can't unmute your mic, kindly use the comment section. We always advise that you ask questions in class, although you can also ask questions in the Discord channel because the mentor is in the Discord channel and he can always see your question. However, asking here will give you the opportunity to still get more what's it called, clarity with whatever you're asking, right? So if you have any question, do well to ask or do well to drop it in the comment section. Okay, I can see Matt D, you've dropped your screenshot. I just acknowledged it. MK Samuel, I just acknowledged your screenshot. Mubarak Mustafa, I just acknowledged your screenshot. Well done, guys. So let's keep dropping the screenshots. We are 19 on this call. At least I should see like 12 screenshots in the community, or 15 even. 12 or 15 screenshots in the community. Let's drop it, drop it, drop it. Let's drop it. Yeah, please. If you're having any issue a creating an account, please let us know so that we can rectify it now. Trying to create mine too. Let us know so that we can rectify it on the call now. Okay. Mr. Dave, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, please.
Shmuel is asking a question in the comment section, so you can check.
Okay, in the comment section. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to open that. Oh, okay. He's saying that is this any difference to RPA? Yes, Shmar, it is different, right? Basically, when it comes to workflow automation, I mentioned examples before, right? So examples are like Zapier, Make, Anything, and the likes I mentioned. They're basically they automate software to software communication, right? Sorry. But when it comes to RPA, basically RPA basically automates human-like actions, right? Um, yes. So RPA basically automates human-like actions, which basically would be like. You remember I mentioned that I was learning AI automation back then, right, with Python. And basically, what happens is the automation was around like clicking, typing, screen reading, right? So basically, RPA is totally different because you know that RPA has to do with like the robotic process automation. So it has to deal with when the user is typing, when the user is clicking, screen reading, and the likes, right? So basically, there's a difference between that. I hope I got to answer that. Small. All right, 60 seconds is elapsed. Well done, everyone. Well done, well done. Small, kindly confirm you was able to answer your question. All right. So yes, robotic process automation. Very good. So I hope everyone is now ready to go. So yeah, once you open Zapier, you're gonna have something like this, right? You have this Zapier virtual assistant, which you can usually click up. There always it's an AI tool, so it replies very fast. But once you open Zapier, you're going to see something like this, right? And first you have this Zapier logo. You also have a sidebar that you can collapse and uncollapse, right? When you want to create new Zapier, you can click on create. Now, when you want to click on create, you have Zaps, and like I said before, Zaps are basically automated workflows, right? All right, they're basically automated workflows. Um, you also have tables, right? And basically, you can use this when you want to basically automate your data storage, right? You can use tables. You also have interface. Interface now consists of different forms, right? You can have the ones for app, for forms, and for pages. You also have for Canvas. You know what Canvas is already. You have chatbots, and you also have your AI agents, right? This agent is basically something that you can send from one place to the other, right? So you also have this your assets. Basically, once you click on assets, you will see that assets are basically what you've done before. So if you've created a workflow before, you see all of that right here. And I'm using a new account for you guys because you're going to so that you guys will be able to follow me seamlessly, right? Right. So let me go back to the home page. You also have Discover. So Discover is basically where you can go ahead to basically see like different templates that have been created before. Remember I mentioned this when I was explaining that with Zapier, you're going to see different templates that have been created. And most of the ones that you'll be seeing is basically Gmail to Google Doc to Google Sheets and the like. So let's just wait for this to load up, finish, so that I can show you guys what it looks like. All right, just give it a sec once it loads up. So while that loads, what we're going to do right now is we would also need, okay, yeah, very good. So you can see workflow automations. You see different aspects, right? Sales pipeline, project management, um, lead management, right? But there's even more that I want to show you guys, right? Yes, you can see you have from Facebook to LinkedIn to what we have right here. We also have from Slack, right? And we have from Google Meet to ChatGPT to Google Doc, right? So there are a lot right here, right? There are a lot that you can actually go ahead to play around with. Once you are free, you can see we have from um, ChatGPT to Slack, right? You also have different things, right? So you can actually use it for your social media handles also. So for example, for content creators, for example, and I know someone that basically whenever he makes a video, yes, without requiring any code, right? So I know some people that when they want to post, mostly they have to post on their Instagram, post on their TikTok, post on their Facebook, post on their YouTube, right? So for content creators also, you can actually go ahead to for content creators, you can go ahead to actually create a workflow that whenever you trigger that workflow, it posts to all your social media handles. Because I know that what is possible right now is you can only post something on your Instagram and it reflects directly on your Facebook. But I'm not sure you can go ahead to post something on your Instagram and it reflect on your TikTok, right? And even what makes this kind of annoying again is when you're using TikTok, you can't schedule a post. You can only save as draft, then post later on. You have to come back and post it yourself, right? But when it comes to Instagram, you can still schedule a post for Instagram and your post appears on Facebook and Instagram together. That's if you link your accounts, right? So basically, workflow are going to beat all of this process and make sure that you are basically performing your work seamlessly, right? So yeah, these are the different ones that we have. So let's go back home. I just want to make sure that I'm covering everything for you guys step by step, and we are not missing out on anything, right? So you also have your app connections. This is where you can connect different applications. Your Zap history, obviously, if you have created anyone before, but for right now, it's currently empty, right? So now these are popular templates, right? So let's look at browse all templates. Like I said earlier on, there are popular templates that you can go ahead to use. So for example, let's go ahead to look at this together. Oh, that's what this came out from, right? But yeah, like I said earlier on, they are those popular templates that, for example, from Google Form to Gmail, from Google Sheets to Gmail, from Gmail to Filter by Zapier, then Google Doc back, right? So we have from Mail to Google Doc, right? So let's look at the most popular. So most popular that people are majorly using is from Mail to Google Doc, then from Mail to Google Sheets rather. Then we have from Mail to Google Doc, and we have from Calendar to Trello, right? So basically you see that workflows are basically taking over the industry right now, and you really need to be good at creating workflows. If not, you are going to be left out, right? Like my slide said, if whatever you are doing, let me go back to that quote again. Whatever you are doing, AI, whatever you are learning, it's going to create a new set of odd jobs in the next 5 years, and we're just getting started, right? So obviously, writing, you have help, explore apps, upgrade. The pricing is actually quite fair, right? With 19 point some with $19, it gives you access to thousands of templates that you can use, and with $65 or $69 thereabouts, yeah, $69, $19, yes, because I know I've worked with these two before. Yeah. So with $19, you can go ahead to create multi steps apps. But trust me, with the free option, you can still go ahead to explore Zapier very well, right? Yeah. So that's that about the pricing. Your profile, obviously, you can go ahead to set it or log out, whatever you want to do, right? But first, let me just show you how to create a simple workflow, right? So let's click on Zap. The first thing we go ahead to click on Zap, right? So don't forget, whenever you want to create Zap, there's a step to it, right? First, we have what? Remember I showed in my slide. Do you remember? Yes. First, we have what? The trigger. Then after, we have the what? The action. Then we're going to get our output, right? So our output is what is either sent to our email or sent to whatsoever, right? And right here, you can also explore like different things that you can do whenever the app is basically opened, right? You can search for anything if you need any help. But yeah, you can go ahead to rename, let's rename and just save it first Zap, right? So if you want to use Copilot, you can use Copilot, but I'm going to teach you how to do that. But before we do that, let's go ahead to understand what is going on right here. So you can see we have over 7,000 apps and tools. Sorry, let me see some of that. Yeah, so you can see we have over 7,000 apps and tools, right? So we have Google Calendar, Google Doc, and right here we also have popular built-in tools. And basically, what is popular built-in tools? So if you are following, please let me just kindly drop a yes in the chat. I really like it when my children are very, very active. Can you drop a yes in the chat if you're active? Very good, Steve. Always active. I like that. Very, very good. I love that, Steve. Okay. It's when you are joining, always try to join with your name so that I can give you a shout out. Now I can't give you a shout out. It does have like a bug. This one I'm seeing bug. Hope we're not going to have bug today when we're creating our Zapier. Aha. Just kidding. Yeah, so we have Matt D active, Dave active. Very good. I can see you guys are active. All right. Good, good. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So we have the apps right here, Google Calendar, Google Docs, whatever we want to do. We also have apps right here that I can go ahead to search for. Though there are some premium ones, which is like Shopify, Salesforce, MySQL. You can see it also have PayPal, right? So there are a lot of automation tools right here that you can use, right? So for the AI aspect also, you can go ahead to do your custom prompts. You also have workflow and flow control. So this flow control is what I was also telling you about, right? So for example, if you want to say when the user sent you an email, you want to like split by the first name and stuff like that. So there are some tools right here also that you can go ahead to also make use of, right? But for this example, we can also say that okay, maybe I want to use an email, for example. So once you click on email, you're going to have this black canvas also. If you are used with Figma, you know how to use Figma. You can go ahead to play around this. So you zoom, use two fingers to pinch, right? You can go ahead to zoom, go here, go back up thereabouts, and yeah, you can go ahead to choose to trigger an event, right? So you can say, okay, I want to trigger an event, maybe when a new email appears, right? There are different things that you can do right here. Maybe a new label conversation, whatever you want to do. So when a new email appears, you can go ahead to click that. I've selected my email already. This is my email, right? I'm gonna go ahead to click continue, right? So right here, this is where you can go ahead to configure your email, right? So for this, you can say, okay, when a chat is being sent or when you receive an inbox, right, which is what we're going to go with, and we're going to click on continue, right? Very good. So you can go ahead to like test your trigger, right? So you can see it's working fine. Yeah, also you can go ahead to click your action. This action will be like, okay, once I receive an email, what should happen next, right? So do you want to send message to Stripe? Do you want to send message to Notion, or do you want to send, so whatever you want to do, right? So for example, I can click on Notion right here. I have my Notion connected already also, right? But what you would have to do is you would have to click on connect. You might be something like connect here if you have not used it before, right? So you have Notion, you can choose an event that okay, once this happens, what should happen? You can go ahead to maybe create a new page, you can go ahead to add a comment to some sheets, whatever you want to do, right? So this is how you can create this manually. But what I want to show you guys is I'm going to teach you how to use AI to basically automate all of your process, right? So after that, you click on continue, you go ahead to configure data source. Now, this is going to pop up for different notion that you have, different topics that you have. You can see topic, progress, expense, income monthly. I can pick whatever one I want right here, right? I can also select item, pick whatever item that I want, right? And do all of these things, right? It's very, very seamless. But what I want us to do practically together is I want us to create our own from scratch and use AI to see how we can prompt everything, right? So first thing is we're going to need a Google form, right? So a Google form that basically allows so we're going to have Google form that allows user to basically fill in their email, their name, and just something like a like a a response feedback, something like that, right? A response feedback. So we're going to do that together right now. So first thing first is I would need to create a Google Sheet that basically does all of this. So yeah, I can name it, for example, I can name it Dave Ward, or name it Dave Ward, let's say Dave Ward Restaurant Complaint, right? And I'll put here customer feedback, right? So rest. Yes. So and for the description, I would say kindly submit your feedback for my for my complaint, right? And question I want to ask first, I want to ask, okay, first, what is your name? Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to say I want you to type a paragraph. That's a short answer, right? And we're going to go ahead to add another field at the bottom. And yeah, I will say, what is your email address, right? Yeah, I'm going to put what paragraph as the short answer also, so that they can put in their email address. And right here, last question I'll just ask them is like, what is your feedback? Right? What is your feedback? And yeah, also they can go ahead to put in paragraph, right? You can see we don't have any response right here. But what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to go ahead to click on publish, right? So now I'm going to copy the link right here. I'll come here. You see if I now go ahead to click on this link. Here you can see I can now go ahead to submit my to do whatever I want to do. I can switch accounts, which I'm going to do. So let me just switch accounts right here, and I'm going to bring it back to you guys so that you know that I'm using another account to basically fill out this form. All right, give me one sec. Very good. So I just switched my account right now, and I'm just using my second email address. Right, you can see the different email address right here. So yeah, while we've done that already, let's go back to Zapier. And what I want you to do now is I want you to go to Zaps, right? Go back to your home page and create something very, very simple, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to home, right? Now this home page, this is the Copilot where you can go ahead to use, you go ahead to basically prompt the AI model, the Copilot, and it's going to help you to basically automate everything seamlessly, right? So yeah, what I'm going to tell Copilot to do is I'm going to say, let's say when someone submits someone submits response in Google form. Don't forget we're using Google form, right? It's Google form. We can name it. Okay, very good, very good. Table restaurant company. So Google form. What I want you to do is I want you to what send them a thank you email via Gmail. Now watch what is going to happen. I'm going to click on enter, and we'll just wait for Zapier to do its magic. Basically, it's the same thing that we did before that it's going to do. It's going to go ahead to create a news app, then select email and select Google Doc, right? And once it does that, I'm going to tell you the next step to do. So you can see perfect, both Gmail, blah, 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 blah. It's straightforward automation between two apps, right? And we can click on continue to Zap editor. Now, if you don't want to do this, you can actually go ahead to create new Zap and select Gmail and also Google Form. But let's go ahead and click on continue with Zap editor. So it's just the same process, right? So let's just wait for it to load. Mubarak, kindly go ahead to click the mic. Okay, very good. So you can see right now, we have the steps that is taking. But what I like to do is I like to review whatever the AI is doing for me, right? So you can see right here, we have Google Form. If you want to do this manually, it's the same thing, right? All you have to do, I'm teaching you two steps right now. All you have to do is to come here, create new, like we already did before here, our Verse app. So come here, same thing, right? I'm teaching you guys two ways right now. So whatever one you want to use, you're gonna do that. Right here, click on it, right? And go back to setup, and you can change the app that you want to work with, Google Form, right? Sorry. And right here, instead of Notion, you can also come here to setup and change it to what? Gmail, right? So you can see same thing that we have right here. Just the same process, all right? And once you have done that, you can come here to click on setup. From this place, you can click on trigger an event, right, from the new form response. And okay, so once you do that, you click on continue. Now, once you click on continue, right here, you're going to see a drop down list where you can basically select. Don't forget, if you have not linked your account, you must go ahead to connect first. All right. So now go to configure, and configure. You're going to pick like what you want to use, right? So yeah, I'm going to pick my default restaurant company. Right? I have other form right here, which I can use. I can select if I want to. You can see there are other 18 results too, um, but yeah, we're just going to be using this one for now. Default restaurant company, right? Now I'm going to select that, and yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Form A response, right? So you can see that basically what is expecting what is your name, what is your email address, and what is your feedback, right? So you can go ahead to click on continue selected record, right? And you can see right now we're showing mark, right? Now when it's showing mark right now, that means that we can go ahead to also test it, right? So action, we're telling it to what? Send an email. We can do whatever way you want to do here. Maybe delete the email, remove email from your draft or whatever you want to do right here. You can do that, right? Um, so yeah, then let's go back to configure. Then we can go ahead to test, right? So basically, once you click on test, you can see it's going to tell us the body. Thank you for your feedback. Then I thank you so much for taking time. Thank you so much for taking time to provide your feedback to David Restaurant Company. Your input is incredibly valuable to us and help us improve our service. Then we truly appreciate whatever you want to do, right? So the reason why I use it because the AI is automatically going to help us to fill in this. But if you are using it directly, you might have to fill all of this by yourself, right? Um, so yeah, we have the CC, the BC, the blind copy, right? Sorry, my stuff went. Okay, very good. We have the reply to, we have the add signature, whatever one you want to add, right? So let's click on test step. Very good. So what I want you to do right now is also you need to also configure the send email, right? So for the send email, what we're doing is we're picking out the responded email address from me automatically, right? And basically, I want you to know that you can go ahead to also change this. So for example, if you want to pick up the name instead, you can go ahead to pick up the name, right? You also have the CC if you want to copy another email address. You also have the blank copy. We have the form. This form is basically going to tell you that it's sending this from mine, right? From from my email that I used to sign up. And yeah, from the name also. So for this name, you can go ahead to customize it. Now we have something that is called slash for field mapping, right? And basically this works. How this works is, for example, if you want to add in the username, right? For example, we're asking for the person name right here. You can go ahead to put in the form, right? So let me see. One sec. Okay, good, good. All right. So yeah, you can go ahead to pick out the username. Yeah, I'm going to pick what the response is. So whatever the user feels with my response, I'm going to pick that up. And yeah, I'm going to say reply to, and yeah, I'm going to pick the respondent email. And subject will be thank you for your feedback, and the body is going to be HTML. So if you don't know what HTML is, it's um just hypertext markup language um stuff that is going on right. So PR is just break. It's just a nice way of formatting your email so that you have like idea and space. Thank you so much. Break again and the likes, right? So you can add signature if you want to add. It's not compulsory, and you can also do a label make box if you want to also do that, right? But now let's guys just click continue. And also we've tested it. We can see that it's working fine, right? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to publish it, and we're going to go ahead to test it out together, right? So now once you can see your Zap is on using version 1. So now what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead to fill out this form, right? So right here, I'm going to pick out my name, and I will say my name is Eniola. Eniola. And yeah, I'll say what's my email. I'll put in the same email that I have right here. Right, and I'll say, hey, love the food, man. Great job. It's a great job. Right, and let's go ahead to click on submit. All right, so we received that this has been sent. So let's go back to our Zapier, and let's rename this actually. We're going to rename this to Google Form Automation. Mm, Now let's go to Zapier. Let's see our apps that are available, and you can see this is turned on. So let's click on the Google Form Automation, and let's just make sure that it worked perfectly fine. So I'm going to check my email just to make sure I'm receiving that feedback. One sec. Okay, so I'm going to so guys, let me just go ahead to turn on my camera so you can see this. So you can see that I have this email right here. I don't know if you can see my screen. Um, okay, you know what? Let me go ahead to quickly log into my email so you can see it right there, so I can show you that I received it. So I'm going to log into my other email address because it's just take just a few seconds. And yeah, you're going to see the time. So the time right now is 7:35. That was when we sent that Zapier email. So let's go ahead to open it right here. So we received it 7:45. So I'm gonna drag. Just give me a minute. It's loading up. Mm, Zapier. See. Let me open it again. Okay, you can see it right here. But right now, you can see what it's showing, right? Um, okay, received one error. Send an email at least one, two, or CV. Oh, okay. So let's fix this actually. We got this error that we need to add a 2CC or BCC. So what happened is basically this email right here, we didn't add who we are sending it to. Thought I selected that already. So configure to set up account. Okay, no phone. Just make sure that everything is working fine. Okay, let's turn off this app here to edit it again. And let's refresh. Okay. You know what? From our Gmail, let's go ahead to edit it directly to make sure that everything works fine. All right. So that's one of the cool things. When you have error, you need to understand what's going on and also debug it along, right? But let's see. Let's see why it's up here is saying we had an error. Oh, refresh. Let's refresh this. Now we say now our Zapier works fine already. Yeah. So what's going on? Let's show off it and two. Let's go ahead to. Okay, let's turn this on and test it again. Let's submit another response. Let's put a name again. Enter at one tab. I'll say thanks to food. I enjoyed really enjoyed it. Let's give it some time. Okay, so we are still having the same error. What is showing right here is showing that our Zapier account is showing that is an error. So what we're going to do is, so you can see this error right here. So let's just copy this error right here and let's paste it to our chat. And after we paste our chat, then we're going to test run it again, right? So good. Let me test run it again. Good. Test run it again. Draft paste on V1 and let's go ahead to test run it again. All right, so I'm going to test run it and wait for that email to land in. So this app will trigger as soon as this happens. So let's continue with selected record. And let's test run. All right. So Gmail hasn't been set up yet. Set one new message to Gmail. Very good. Very good. So now we can see it's showing marked here, but the error we were getting was it was not getting the C, which is the topic two. But here we have this, right? Hmm. So here we have this two, and let's go ahead to test again. All right, so same process. I'll put my name, email address, to one tab, text for the food, and hopefully we get this email right here now. Okay, so look at this right now, guys. We have this. Can you see this? Congratulations. So I'm going to pass this one now to my screen so you can see it. I'm going to click on inbox and I'm going to refresh it just to pass the message right here. So we created this 7:45 by my calendar. Right. So let's go ahead to open it on my laptop so you guys can see the success message. So you can see, congrats. I for some reason I can't seem to connect it. Okay, you can see, congrats. So our Zapier now works perfectly fine now. Congrats on creating your best app, and everything now works perfectly fine now, right? So let's go ahead to look at that again since everything works fine now. So let's send the email right now. And yep, for the Dave word complain, send another response. Let me try to use another email address. So I'm going to use at two, and I'm going to say, sorry, this is my email address, Control V, and name I'll just put Dave World, and here I'll just put I love the meal, right? I'm going to click on submit. So I'm going to wait for that email to land in right here. And make sure that everything works fine. So let me know, are you guys testing it from your end? Has anyone tested it from their end? Did you create your own form? Are you able to test it from your end? Someone is saying yes. Someone is saying Zapier is temperamental. What's going on? Let me know in the chat if you are following me, please.
Okay, guys.
Okay, you guys are following me. Good, good.
Yeah, just like we did about creating accounts on Zapier, if you have done your automation, please screenshot your work and send it to the AI automation channel, right? Just as we did creating an account on Zapier. We want this to be as interactive as possible. So again, if you have any question, you can of course unmute your mic and ask your question. For the automation, if you have done yours, make sure you have your screenshot and share it with us. Good.
Thank you so much for allowing me to ask a question. So I was asking, can I connect my Google Forms with the WhatsApp because I been working with the Google Forms, but then uh, many people tend not to check their email. So I don't know if it's possible for me to connect my Google Forms with WhatsApp as
So
Zapier.
Rafa.
Thank you.
So yes, so now let's do this together, right? If I go to Zap, the email is just coming in right now. Can you see that? So I think Zapier is taking a lot of time to send that email. But we already have the email coming in right now from Zapier, right? But right now, so basically, if you want to know if you can use WhatsApp, what you need to do, just come to create Zaps, right, and click on the apps, right. So if you come here, search, because I know Zapier has limitations, but yeah, we have WhatsApp notification, but it's for premium users, right. Yeah, you can use WhatsApp, but it's for premium users. Anything also allows you to do that, and Make also allows you to do that, right? So yes, you have WhatsApp, but it's for premium users. Did I get to answer you?
Yes, I'm answered. Thank you.
All right, good, good. So in case you're not getting your mail, just wait for some minutes. Zapier does take time to load. I don't know why. But yeah, once you set up everything and you have everything looking like what I did here, so let me go back to the example and go back to let me go back to my file and go back to the one I created. So once you can see those check mark It might take some time for your workflow to get triggered, but you can see mine is turned on, and you can see it's showing the green mark, right? So basically, once you can have this set up, just wait. It can take 5 to 10 minutes sometimes. It depends on how heavy Zapier is being used, right? But basically, once you have everything set up, don't forget again, you need to set it up, add your Google form. So let me click on edit app. Don't forget, you can see mine is showing marked right now. So don't forget, you need to set it up, right? Um, Add your apps, which can be anything, but right now we're using Google Form. Configure it. You need to also add your email, right? If you have not connected your email, connect your email. Then configure it, right? Pick whatever form that you want to use. I picked this one because we just used this right now, which is default restaurants, right? And if I come here to actually see my response, you can see we have 4 response right here. So once you can pick this and once you test this, right, run a test and everything works fine. Also, same thing for your Gmail, right? Set it up, right? Connect your account, configure it. Um, to, you know what, let's use slash for this again, and let's pick the person email address, right? Instead of this. Mm, so to email address, right? You can pick through also. You can pick CC if you want to pick CC. So you can say copy to your own email address again. That will be at 3. So you can pick blind copy, whatever you want to do, right? So once you basically set this up, right, and you click on continue, yeah, and you click on continue, and you click on published, right? Once you can see, so let's click this on version 2 and publish, right? So once you can see this, that your new version Zap is now published to this thing, to V2, right? You can go ahead to test it out. See, uh, one. Yes, so once you can see that it's published, to confirm also, you can go back to your Zapier, go back to your application, so just go back to your apps. Yeah, go back to your Zap. Once you can turn this on, make sure that once you turn this on, it means that your status is now active. Let me block my laptop. It means your Zap is now active. So once your Zap is active, um, so let me just show you the example of how it look like. So you see that it's active right now. So I told you it might take time for Zap to actually reflect, but once it finally reflects, you will see that you have something like this. So let me just bring this message right here. So you can see that I just sent my own email to this particular email address, which is Ademola15. And you can see that I got this from what? Dave World, the idea. So let me just zoom it for you guys. So it might take some time actually, but once you finally get it set up, it's going to reflect, right? So you can see idea. Thank you so much for taking your time to provide this feedback to Dave World Restaurant Company. Your input is incredibly valuable to us and help us improve our service. We truly appreciate your time and will carefully review your response. Best regards, the Dave World Restaurant team, right? So you can see I got this email, which is just what? It entered around 7:53. So it might take some time to actually reflect, right? So just play around with it. You can also try out Zap with other platforms also. Um, you can try it out from, maybe you want to connect other platform like your Google Sheets, your Microsoft Teams, whatever you want to do, right? Just play around with it and give it some time, right? Stuff sometimes might be funny. It might want to take like 5 minutes to reflect. You can see us, it was showing error before we finally got it to reflect, right? But I'm very sure that if I go ahead, you know what? I want somebody to drop that email for me. Let me go ahead to test it so that you will see how or let me drop this form for you guys. You know what? I'm going to drop this form for you guys in the chat. So I want you guys to go ahead to fill this form. So I want you guys to go ahead to fill this form and let me know. Let me know if you receive the confirmation. Like, thank you for receiving the Zap and stuff like that. So quickly, if you started feeling it, drop a yes in the chat. So I want you guys to fill this form so that, okay, very good. So month D, kindly fill the form and let me know if you get the response, please. I think the app is actually live right now. Before it was taking there about to actually come up, but it's live right now. So once you fill it, you fill the form. Okay, let me see from my response right here. So response, I can see I am Justice Orogu. Okay, very good. Did you receive the confirmation email from Dave? Well, thank you. If you received it, screenshot it and drop it in the channel or drop a yes. Yeah, yeah, checking. Very good. I want you guys to also fill this form. I just have only 6 response, 10 response. Very good. If you have gotten the feedback, please let me know. Kindly confirm. You have filled it. Did you get the response? Obviously, I'm here. I cannot be replying all of your emails as you're filling it, right? Yes, Justice, you got the response. Now, I want you to screenshot that and drop it on the Discord channel. You can see my hands. I'm not replying all of you guys immediately, right? Automatically, Zapier is doing that for us. So, after getting some couple of errors, we're able to get it to work. So if you have errors also, just make sure that you are showing that green tick, and give it some time, right? Me, I was trying my own immediately. Just give it some time, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes thereabouts, then you have your own up and running. Kindly drop a screenshot in the Discord. Aisha, help me confirm if they are dropping it, or Mr. Abdul or Mr. Aisha. Just help me
I
confirm
mean,
if they are
I
dropping it.
was carried away. I can hear you. So please drop your screenshots in the comment section, of our Discord. That is where you would be dropping your screenshots. Um, if you have done yours, please drop your screenshots. I I would be confirming on my end, guys. If you have any question, I can see that some people are asking questions already, but then I just want to reiterate again.
Okay.
Okay, Siki said she asked the question but didn't get an answer. I don't know if you are an E
Oh, Siki.
or a E
Siki,
or
please
a
kindly
C.
go ahead to ask a question again.
Okay. She's saying he or she is saying, is there like a limit to workflows you can create in Zapier?
Yes, yes. So there are limits on workflows that you can create to Zapier, and that's why I would always advise you to check the pricing page. Once you go ahead to check that pricing page, you will see the limitations that you have for free users. And if you also want to upgrade to Pro plan, the limit that you can upgrade to is $19 thereabouts. And after $19, you have $69. But there is a limit to workflows that you can actually create. But I think it's for a beginner like you guys, is actually quite all right for you guys. So you can try it out. So I can see you guys are dropping the screenshot already on the Discord channel. All right, very good. Awesome. Our workflow is working perfectly fine. Siki, I hope I got to answer your question though.
This
Very good. I
class
can
is
see
worth
some
$1 million.
screenshots.
This class is what, because I'm saying that if someone rewatches this recording, they would actually know how to actually create their first workflow. Because I can see people already dropping things in the comment section on Discord. So if you know anyone that needed to be here, tell them that this class is worth it. I just wanted to put that out. Thank you, Mr. David.
Yes, very good. So, like I said earlier on again, guys, if you have created your workflow, just follow the same process. Give it some time to basically load up. And once you do that, you are going to be good to go, right? So, guys, I think that will be the end of today's lecture. I hope you guys got to understand what workflow is. I hope you got to understand basic the basic things that you need to know when it comes to creating workflow. Play around with it. Be just play around with it. You have like a number of workflow that you can create. So just be yourself, play around with it, get to understand it better. And to in our next lecture, we'll be talking about Python for AI automation. Yeah, so Python for AI automation, we're going to be learning something very much more seamless, right? We're going to learn about we'll do a quick Python refresher course. If you don't know how to code, you might need to actually refresh your concept about Python programming language. Then we'll talk about working with document loaders and text splitters, um, which I'm going to explain very well. You can also go ahead to read up before the class. Let me drop you guys documentations, right? So if you go to my GitHub, you can also go ahead to GitHub to follow me. I have some cool documentations right there. Um, so you can go to GitHub, try out my workflows that I've created before. You know what? Let me go ahead to come here. Let me, sorry. Um, is it launching LCEL? Um, no, this is not it. It's LangChain basics, right? So just go ahead to play around with LangChain basics. Don't mind me, my payment is just fucking me up right now. Yeah, so but yeah, go ahead to play around with this. You can also check out this. You can see data ingestion. These are things that you need to also learn. We're going to be doing in our next class: data ingestion, data transformation, embeddings, vector store, and things of those nature. You can go ahead to read more about it before our next class tomorrow. But I hope you guys get to understood what we did today. Just check out Eniola Demola. You see me on GitHub, right? So guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and that will be the end of today's lecture. I'll hand over to Aisha right now. Thank you.
Wow, that was a whole lot, right? That was a whole lot, more than an hour, and I'm here still like, oh wow. Thank you very much, Mr. David, for that awesome and wonderful class. I mean, I can see the arms rolling, I can see the love. And guys, I just want you to give me in one word, how has this class been for you? In one word. Use the comment section so that we can just go and pepper the rest of the people that didn't come to today's class. In one word, just let me know. Amazing. Honestly, for me, it's also amazing. I want more feedback from you guys. Peter said amazing. Way again, educative, insightful. Yeah, definitely insightful. Awesome. Honestly, very, very awesome. Honestly, I was like, wow, are you sure we are still going to learn more things? This one that we have learned everything in day one. Hey, God. But then, I mean, this is what you get when you have a great tutor. Thank you very much again, Mr. Dave. We really do appreciate your
You're
time,
welcome.
and taking your
Sure.
time to also explain to us. We really, really do love it, and we're looking forward to tomorrow, guys. So that is the end of today's class, guys. And I appreciate the fact that everyone is asking a question. So Mr. Abdul wants to say something. Mr. Abdul, you can go ahead and say what you want to say before I continue.
All right, guys. I will have to say actually it was a very educative session. Thank you very much, Mr. Dave. So, guys, I'm sure today we were able to understand workflows, how workflows works, and the design around workflows. We also were able to understand why workflows are needed, right? Then we went on to explore one of the no-code tools, one of the automation tools, that's Zapier. I believe that every one of us was able to open an account on Zapier, and we let's played around the interface of Zapier, and finally we were able to create our first workflow, right? And some of us really tried with the whole thing because they screenshotted and share their work. So that is very nice of us. I would like to once again say thank you to Mr. Dave. It was really insightful. I'll be dropping our social media handles. Do well, please, to follow us on all our social media handles. Make sure that the class doesn't stop here, right? We are on the Discuss channel for a reason. So if you have any follow-up question, anything you are trying out that is stuck, you can, of course, drop it down on the Discord channel. 247, myself, Miss Aisha, or Mr. David will be around to help you through any of your challenges. So thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow, and I'm sure tomorrow's class will be even more electric than this. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Mr. Abdul, I'm not done. You're closing the class for me. So guys,
Oh, sorry.
like I said, I also wanted to mention that you should be following our channels. Aside from the chats in the community, which we created for it to be interactive and for you to collaborate with each other, we also share valuable stuff on our channels. some opportunities, some collaborations, some marketing opportunities. We have partnership with other organizations that open you guys to different opportunities, and we post these things on our social media, educative stuff also. You should be following them, right? And also, another thing I would love to mention is that we always advise that you build in public,
Recording
right?
has stopped.
If you are in the orientation class that we had on Wednesday, you'd have heard our co-founders spoke at length about how you can build in public, why you should build in public, and the opportunities that are there when you're learning and you're building in public. So when you are building in public, there are lots of opportunities for you, right? Aside from the fact that it creates opportunity for you to even be hired even before you finish, you get to network with people. People see what you're doing, right? They see your process. They don't just see you after you're done, they see the process of you getting there. So, in case you decide to share your journey for this AI automations online, please, we love to actually be part of it. So, we always advise that you tag us so that we can always retweet, we can always share. We love to actually like be part of your story, right? So, that is another thing I would also love to put out there. And the third thing is that we don't have classes on Sundays. We believe that all work without play makes Jack a dull boy, and all work without rest can actually burn you out quickly. So Sundays we left it out for rest, for people that wants to do something else, for people to reset. So we don't have classes on Sunday. So the next class is tomorrow. Then after tomorrow we have a class on Monday. So yeah, that will be all for today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the class. It was really awesome for you guys to stay to the end. I mean, if you have anybody that registered for this and didn't attend today, I think you want to take the good word or the good news to them about how awesome today's class was. Thank you very much once again, guys. And yeah, and this is where we draw the curtains of today's class. Don't forget to always ask questions in the community channel and also interact with your folks and peers. I would see you guys tomorrow. Do have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye. Bye bye.